Space near Earth lay peaceful that morning. Captain Jake Murphy relaxed in his command seat aboard the EDF Sentinel, sipping coffee while gazing at distant stars. 15 years on this job and excitement never came knocking. The Earth Defense Force felt more like space patrol than real military work. Most shifts meant watching for space rocks and guiding lost freight vessels. Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez worked her station, scanning radio waves from the deep void. Young at 25, she was the finest communications expert Jake had ever known. She could catch transmissions others would miss completely. Right now, she looked as bored as everyone else present. "Just another peaceful shift," said Commander Ben Hayes, approaching Jake's position. Ben served as Jake's right hand, a hardened veteran from the Mars colonies before transferring to the EDF. "Perhaps we'll catch a meteor shower," Jake joked. "Don't tempt fate." "Ben, peaceful suits me fine." Then Amy jerked upright, her complexion draining white. "Captain," she stammered, voice trembling. "I'm detecting something massive." "Truly enormous?" Jake set his cup aside. "Define massive." Amy's hands raced across her panel. The forward display blazed with data streams and charts. "Unidentified vessels, sir. Countless numbers. They materialized at our solar system's boundary." Ben stepped beside Amy's console. "How countless are we talking?" Amy double-checked her readings. 200 craft minimum, sir. Perhaps more. Each one dwarfs anything in our arsenal. Jake's stomach twisted. Throughout his years exploring space, he'd never encountered alien vessels. Nobody had. Earth stood isolated in the cosmos, or so everyone believed. "Certain these aren't ours?" "Absolutely not, sir," Amy replied. "Their construction is totally foreign, and, sir, they're transmitting to us." Jake rose. His fingers trembled slightly. "Display it." The image silenced every person on deck. The alien stood tall and skeletal with ash-colored flesh and huge midnight eyes. It dressed in dark military clothing decorated with bizarre markings. When it spoke, the language emerged as flawless English. "Inhabitants of Earth," the alien announced, "I am Admiral Vexatha of the Zapirian Empire. Your planet has been selected for occupation. We have eliminated 47 star systems preceding yours. Our superiority is absolute. You possess 72 hours for complete capitulation. Resistance means forcible conquest. Countless lives will end. Decide carefully." The transmission ceased. Complete silence gripped the bridge. Jake surveyed his team. Everyone stared at the blank display where the creature had appeared. Amy's hands shook. Ben looked furious. Other officers appeared terrified. "Amy," Jake said, voice controlled, "forward this to Earth Command immediately. Report a code red emergency." "Right away, sir," Amy answered, fingers dancing across controls. Jake moved toward the massive viewport. Somewhere beyond sight, 200 alien battleships waited. Ships that had obliterated 47 civilizations. Ships that could probably erase Earth's defense forces effortlessly. "Captain," Ben said softly, "what's our move?" Jake pictured his wife and children planetside. He imagined all those people who remained ignorant that aliens existed until this moment. He recalled the aliens' ultimatum: surrender or perish. "We engage them," Jake declared. Ben acknowledged with a nod. Despite impossible odds, Jake faced his team. They watched him, awaiting commands. These were quality people, courageous people. They'd enlisted to defend Earth, never imagining they'd battle aliens. "The odds may be impossible," Jake said, "but surrender isn't our nature. That's never been humanity's way." Amy glanced up. "Captain, Earth Command is responding. Admiral Peterson requests immediate contact." "Connect us," Jake ordered. Admiral Peterson's weathered face filled the screen. He was elderly with silver hair and exhausted eyes. Today, those eyes showed determination. "Jake, I've reviewed the alien ultimatum. What's the enemy fleet size?" "Minimum 200, sir. Each vessel outclasses our largest battleship." Admiral Peterson paused thoughtfully. "Jake, I'll speak plainly. Combat is futile. We command 30 ships total. They field 200. Our armaments are likely primitive compared to theirs. So we capitulate?" Jake asked. "The President is consulting the World Council presently. But Jake, I believe surrender might be inevitable." Anger surged through Jake's chest. "Sir, respectfully, humanity doesn't capitulate. We never have. Not against British tyranny. Not against Nazi aggression, never." Admiral Peterson showed a slight smile. "I hoped you'd respond that way because privately I concur. Deliver the aliens our response, Jake. Demonstrate what humanity represents. The link terminated. Jake turned toward Amy. Open communications with the alien armada. Channel active, sir. Jake faced the camera. He thought about everyone on Earth who would witness this declaration. He thought about his children who might never reach adulthood. He thought about the alien commander who assumed humans would simply yield. Captain Jake Murphy of the Earth Defense Force, speaking for all humanity, he began. We acknowledge your ultimatum, Admiral Vexatha. Here's our reply. Jake hesitated. He sensed everyone holding their breath. Come and take it. Jake signaled Amy, and she terminated the feed. Far away on the Zapirian command vessel, Admiral Vexatha stared at her display. Through 47 conquests, no civilization had ever rejected surrender. They always yielded when confronting the Imperial Armada. These humans proved different, and that concerned her more than she cared to acknowledge. 3 days following the alien ultimatum, the Zapirian Armada advanced. Admiral Vexatha had anticipated the humans reconsidering. No civilization had ever maintained defiance before. She felt certain these primitives would gain wisdom. They didn't. Commander Kethmore commanded the advance force of 50 craft toward Earth's peripheral defense posts. He'd executed this procedure numerous times. Typically, the opposition would fire briefly, recognize futility, and capitulate. The pattern never varied. Commence assault, Kethmore instructed his team. Standard protocol, preserve infrastructure. We desire this planet functional. The initial human defense post was compact and antiquated. It resembled something assembled from scrap metal by amateurs. Kethmore's craft alone possessed more destructive capacity than the entire station. Fire cautionary volleys, Kethmore directed. They'll surrender promptly, but the humans refused surrender. Instead, every weapon system erupted simultaneously. The shots barely scratched the alien vessel's barriers, yet they continued firing endlessly. Sir, said Kethmore's deputy, they're not ceasing. Kethmore felt confused. The humans clearly recognized their hopelessness. Why maintain combat? Eliminate the station, he commanded. One shot from the alien craft shattered the station like glass. But during its destruction, the station did something that astonished every alien observer. It transformed itself into an enormous explosive device. The detonation was tremendous. It didn't destroy Kethmore's vessel, but inflicted severe damage. More significantly, it transmitted a declaration to every human in the system. Those station personnel had chosen death fighting over surrender. Pilot Sarah Kim steered her interceptor toward the alien fleet when she witnessed the station's destruction. Her grip tightened on the flight controls. She'd trained alongside some of those people. They were companions. Sarah Kim to all fighters, she radioed. You witnessed their sacrifice. They perished as champions. Let's ensure their deaths matter. Sarah's craft was ancient and tiny compared to alien warships. Her weapons comprised basic missiles and one energy weapon. Against the colossal alien destroyers, she resembled an insect challenging a giant, but insects can sting. Sarah plunged toward the closest alien craft, evading the enormous energy streams they fired. The beams could demolish structures but move slowly. Sarah moved quickly. She launched her missiles at the alien vessel's weapon arrays. The explosions looked insignificant against the ship's enormity but caused damage. More importantly, they provoked the aliens. Concentrate firepower on that small craft, the alien captain ordered. Destroy it immediately. But Sarah wasn't isolated. 20 additional human fighters emerged from the asteroid field, all attacking together. The aliens possessed superior ships and armaments, but the humans possessed something else. They weren't frightened of death. The space engagement was savage. The aliens eliminated 15 human fighters initially, but the humans pressed forward. They utilized asteroids for protection. They concealed themselves behind debris. They executed maneuvers no tactical computer could anticipate. Sarah's craft sustained damage that disabled her life support. She felt the atmosphere thinning. Her displays indicated her power core was failing catastrophically. Minutes remained before explosion and death. Most pilots would have ejected. Sarah chose differently. She aimed her dying craft at the largest alien destroyer and maximized engine power. The aliens detected her approach and fired everything available, but she was small and swift and desperate. Sarah's vessel struck the alien destroyer as her reactor detonated. The blast tore a cavity in the alien ship's hull. It didn't destroy the destroyer, but crippled it. More significantly, it demonstrated to every human in the fleet what was achievable. One small human craft had damaged something 50 times larger. Planet-side. General Pete Collins monitored the battle on command displays. He was a veteran soldier who'd fought wars throughout the solar system. He'd never witnessed anything comparable. "Sir," said his assistant, "we're receiving reports globally. Civilian manufacturers are volunteering for weapons production. Construction firms want to build fortifications. Everyone wants to contribute," Collins acknowledged. "Allow them. We'll require all assistance possible." In her laboratory, Dr. Alex Turner worked on something potentially beneficial. Humans had secured some alien technology from damaged vessels. It surpassed anything Earth possessed, but Alex was brilliant. She was beginning to comprehend its function. Engineer Maria Santos was already converting her automobile factory for missile production. She'd worked manufacturing her entire career and understood rapid economical production. The aliens might possess superior technology, but humans could manufacture more of anything than anyone else in the cosmos. The initial battle concluded. The aliens prevailed, but at cost. They'd anticipated losing perhaps 1 or 2 craft. Instead, they'd lost 8 vessels and damaged 12 more. The humans lost 30 ships, but demonstrated something crucial. They wouldn't quit. Commander Kethmore sat in his damaged craft, attempting to comprehend what occurred. Through 47 conquests, he'd never encountered anything like the human pilot who weaponized her vessel. His computers possessed no protocols for adversaries who chose death over surrender. "Sir," said his communications specialist, "Admiral Vexatha requests a report." Kethmore didn't know how to respond. "How do you explain that primitives with inferior armaments had embarrassed you? How do you inform your superior that these humans differed from every other civilization in the cosmos?" "Inform the Admiral," Kethmore said slowly, "that we've secured the initial victory, but these humans, they don't engage like anyone we've previously encountered." Back planet-side, Jake Murphy prepared his vessel for the next engagement. He knew the aliens would return, prepared this time, but so would the humans. "Amy," he told his communications specialist, "transmit a message to every craft in the fleet. Tell them about Sarah Kim's actions today. Tell them she revealed how to harm these invaders." Amy nodded and began transmitting. The message would reach every human ship and station throughout the system. It would inform them that even confronting impossible circumstances, humans could still discover methods to fight and prevail. 2 weeks later, the Zapirian fleet reached Earth's orbital space. Admiral Vexatha observed the azure and emerald planet below. It should have been an effortless conquest by now. Instead, her fleet was damaged and her commanders were bewildered. "Begin planetary operations," she commanded. "Deploy 50,000 troops. Secure the major population centers first." The alien transport craft were enormous, each carrying 1,000 soldiers. They descended on New York, London, Tokyo, and Moscow simultaneously. The Zapirians anticipated the humans panicking and fleeing. They were mistaken. Lieutenant Colonel Mike Davis waited in Chicago's destroyed downtown. The aliens had bombarded the city from orbit, but the humans hadn't evacuated. Instead, they'd converted the shattered structures into a stronghold. "Remember," Mike radioed his soldiers, "these aliens are accustomed to space warfare. They lack experience with urban combat. Exploit that." The initial alien patrol advanced down Michigan Avenue confidently. Their armor was sophisticated and their weapons powerful. They moved in flawless formation, following their training exactly. Construction worker Tony Garcia hid in a demolished coffee shop. He'd never been military, but volunteered to fight regardless. In his hands, he held something the aliens had never seen before, a crude explosive device made from fertilizer and scrap. The alien patrol passed Tony's position. He waited until they were directly before him, then hurled the explosive forcefully. The detonation knocked down 3 aliens and damaged their advanced armor. But more importantly, it taught them something new. Every human structure could conceal an adversary. Every rubble pile could be a snare. The urban warfare was brutal. The aliens possessed better weapons and armor, but didn't comprehend cities. They marched in straight formations down primary streets, making themselves vulnerable targets. They anticipated adversaries fighting honorably and openly. Humans didn't fight honorably. Mike Davis guided his soldiers through subway passages beneath the city. The aliens didn't realize the tunnels existed. The humans would emerge behind alien patrols, assault them, and vanish again before the aliens could respond. "This violates proper warfare," complained Commander Zathval, the alien ground leader. "Where are their organized armies? Where are their armored vehicles? Why do they fight from concealment?" The aliens were learning that humans differed from every other civilization they'd conquered. Other races maintained formal armies that fought in open engagements. When you destroyed their armies, they surrendered. Humans didn't maintain formal armies. Every human was a potential combatant. Every structure was a potential fortress. Every street was a potential battlefield. In orbit, Commander Kate Sullivan was creating problems for the alien fleet. Her craft, the EDF Defiance, was compact and swift. She employed hit-and-run strategies that frustrated the aliens immensely. Kate would assault a single alien vessel, damage it, then disappear into the asteroid belt before the remaining fleet could assist. She would utilize space debris for camouflage. She would conceal herself behind moons and strike when the aliens least anticipated it. "This is impossible," said Admiral Vexatha. "How can one small craft cause such disruption?" Her tactical computer repeatedly attempted predicting what Kate would do next, but Kate didn't follow any logical pattern. She attacked when outnumbered. She retreated when advantaged. She did things that defied the alien computers. The explanation was simple. Kate wasn't following a computer program. She was following her instincts and her knowledge of space. She'd grown up on asteroid mining vessels. She knew every rock and gas cloud in the solar system. On the Lunar Research Station, Dr. Lisa Carter was making an important discovery. She'd been studying the captured alien technology and recordings of alien communications. What she found changed everything. "General Collins," she said over the secure channel, "I think I understand why these aliens are so confused by our strategies." "Tell me," said the general. "They're a hive-mind civilization, sir. They all think identically. Their strategies are based on overwhelming force and perfect coordination, but they can't adapt when something unexpected occurs." This was huge information. The aliens weren't just fighting humans. They were fighting a completely different thinking process. The Zapirians planned everything beforehand. Humans improvised constantly. "There's more," Lisa continued. "I don't think individual aliens can make decisions independently. They always wait for instructions from above. If we can disrupt their command hierarchy, they'll be helpless." General Collins saw the opportunity immediately. "We need to capture one of their command vessels." That task fell to Marine Sergeant Carl Brooks. He was a hardened man who'd fought in the Mars Rebellion. He volunteered to lead a boarding party against a damaged alien cruiser. The plan was insane. 20 humans in basic spacesuits would assault a ship with 1,000 aliens inside. But Carl had an advantage. The aliens had never fought hand-to-hand combat before. Carl and his Marines used magnetic boots to walk on the alien ship's exterior. They found an airlock and cut their way inside with plasma torches. The aliens inside weren't ready for visitors. "Go, go, go!" Carl shouted as his team rushed through the ship's passages. The aliens tried stopping them, but weren't accustomed to close combat. Their weapons were designed for long-range fighting. In the narrow passages of their own ship, the humans had the advantage. Carl's team fought their way to the command center. The alien officers inside panicked when they saw humans with guns and knives. They'd never seen anything so primitive and terrifying. "Surrender!" Carl shouted, aiming his rifle at the alien captain. The alien captain looked around at his team. They were all staring at him, awaiting instructions. But the captain had never been in this situation before. The hive mind had no protocol for surrender. I don't comprehend," the captain said. "This isn't how space combat functions." Carl grinned. "Welcome to human space combat, friend." The capture of the alien command vessel was a turning point. For the first time, the Zapirians had lost a major ship to boarding action. More importantly, they'd learned that humans would fight anywhere, anytime, with anything. Admiral Vexatha received the news of the capture with growing concern. In 2 weeks of fighting, she'd lost more craft than in her last 5 conquests combined. Her ground forces were trapped in brutal urban warfare. Her fleet was being harassed by a single human ship. "Sir," said her communications specialist, "Command is requesting a status report." Vexatha looked at the azure planet below. Such a small, primitive world, but it was fighting back with a fury she'd never witnessed before. "Tell Command," she said slowly, "that the conquest of Earth is proceeding more slowly than anticipated." She didn't tell them the truth, that for the first time in her long career, she was beginning to doubt that the Zapirian Empire could prevail. 3 months into the siege, Dr. Alex Turner finally cracked the alien technology. She'd been working continuously in her underground laboratory, attempting to understand how the Zapirian weapons functioned. The breakthrough came when she realized that their energy systems were actually simpler than human technology, just more powerful. "General Collins," she said excitedly over the secure line, "I've solved it. I can build weapons that match theirs. Give me 2 weeks in a factory." "You've got it," Collins replied. "Whatever you need." But the real game changer came from an unexpected source. Danny Park was a 20-year-old college student who'd been hiding in his destroyed university's basement. Before the war, he'd been studying computer science. Now he was studying something more important: alien computer systems. Danny had found a damaged alien communication device in his campus ruins. While soldiers fought in the streets above, he was learning how to hack into the Zapirian network. What he discovered changed everything. "Holy," Danny whispered as he broke through the alien firewall. "I'm in their system." The alien network was enormous and complex, but it had one major weakness. Because the Zapirians were a hive mind, they'd never worried about security between their own craft. Every ship could access every other ship's systems. They trusted each other completely. Danny could see everything: ship positions, troop movements, supply levels, even personal communications between alien commanders. But the most important thing he found was something else entirely. "General," Danny said when he finally got through to Earth Command, "you need to see this. The aliens haven't just conquered 47 worlds. They're barely maintaining control over them." "What do you mean?" Collins asked. "I'm looking at their internal reports. Every world they've conquered is on the edge of rebellion. The only thing keeping them in line is fear. The alien fleet is spread thin, attempting to control all their territory." This was the information Commander Julie Thompson had been waiting for. Julie was a former diplomat who'd been assigned to military intelligence when the war started. She understood something that many soldiers didn't. Sometimes the best weapon is an idea. "We need to broadcast this information," Julie told Collins. "If the other conquered worlds know that the mighty Zapirian Empire is struggling with one primitive planet, they might find the courage to fight back." "How do we do that?" Collins asked. "We capture their main communication hub," Julie said, "and we tell the cosmos the truth." The communication hub was on the Zapirian flagship, a massive craft that was 3 times larger than anything humans had ever built. It was protected by the best shields and weapons in the alien fleet. Reaching it would require a miracle. Captain Jake Murphy volunteered for the mission. His craft, the EDF Sentinel, was damaged but still flying. More importantly, Jake had been fighting these aliens longer than anyone else. He understood them. "This is suicide," Commander Ben Hayes told him. "That flagship has enough firepower to destroy our entire fleet." "Perhaps," Jake said. "But if we don't try, we lose anyway. At least this way we go down fighting." The plan was complex. Kate Sullivan would lead her hit-and-run attacks to draw most of the alien fleet away from the flagship. Mike Davis would launch a major ground assault to keep the alien troops busy. Danny Park would hack into their systems to disable their shields at exactly the right moment. Everything had to work perfectly. If any part of the plan failed, Jake and his crew would die. The attack began at dawn. Kate's craft and a dozen other human vessels started hitting alien positions throughout the solar system. The aliens took the bait and sent most of their fleet to chase the human raiders. Planetside, Mike Davis led 10,000 human soldiers in a direct assault on the alien command center in New York. It was a desperate attack, but it worked. The aliens had to send their reserve troops to stop the human advance. While the aliens were distracted, Jake's craft approached the flagship from behind. The massive alien vessel was still heavily defended, but most of its escort ships had been pulled away to deal with the other attacks. "Danny," Jake said over the channel, "we're in position. Can you drop their shields?" "Working on it," Danny replied from his basement hideout. His fingers flew over the keyboard as he fought through the alien computer defenses. Got it. Shields are down for 60 seconds. That was all the time Jake needed. The Sentinel dove toward the flagship like a hawk attacking prey. The alien point defense systems tried to stop them, but Jake was the best pilot in the Earth Defense Force. The Sentinel crashed through the flagship's hull and into its communication center. Jake's boarding party, led by Sergeant Carl Brooks, fought their way to the main transmitter. The aliens were confused and disorganized. They'd never had adversaries inside their most important ship. "Julie," Jake said into his channel. "You're on." Commander Julie Thompson began broadcasting to the entire cosmos. Her message was simple but powerful. "This is Earth calling all conquered worlds. We are humans, and we are fighting the Zapirian Empire. We are winning. You can fight them too. You can be free." The message went out to every world in the Zapirian Empire. For the first time in centuries, the conquered peoples heard something they had almost forgotten: hope. The reaction was immediate. On 12 different worlds, rebellions began within hours. The aliens suddenly found themselves fighting not just humans, but their entire empire. Admiral Vexatha watched her carefully ordered universe fall apart. Reports of rebellion came in from every corner of the empire. Her fleet was scattered, her troops were exhausted, and her adversaries were multiplying. "Sir," her communication specialist said, "we're receiving surrender requests from 3 of our occupied worlds. They say they cannot hold their positions." Vexatha stared at the tactical display. Red lights were flashing everywhere, showing battles across the cosmos. The Zapirian Empire was crumbling. "How is this possible?" she asked. "We are the strongest military force in the cosmos." Her tactical officer, a young alien who'd never seen the Empire lose before, looked up from his console. "Admiral, I think we made a mistake. We thought we were fighting humans, but we were really fighting an idea." "What idea?" "Freedom, sir. The idea that any being has the right to be free. And ideas are harder to kill than ships." For the first time in her long career, Admiral Vexatha began to understand that the Zapirian Empire might not win this war. These primitive humans had done something that should have been impossible. They had shown the cosmos that the Empire could be beaten, and once that idea took hold, there was no stopping it. Jake Murphy, still aboard the alien flagship, watched the reports coming in from across the cosmos. Rebellions were spreading like wildfire. The mighty Zapirian Empire was falling apart, all because one small planet had refused to surrender. "Ben," he said to his second-in-command, "I think maybe we're going to win this thing after all." Outside, the stars were the same as they had always been, but everything else was different. The cosmos was waking up, and it was ready to be free. 6 months after the first alien ultimatum, Admiral Vexatha stood on her flagship's bridge and watched her empire die. Reports came in every hour of new rebellions, lost worlds, and defeated fleets. The Zapirian Empire, which had ruled the cosmos for 1,000 years, was falling apart in just a few months. "Admiral," her communications specialist said quietly, "we have lost contact with 43 worlds. Our fleets are requesting permission to retreat." Vexatha looked at the tactical display. Only 60 ships remained from her original fleet of 200. The rest had been destroyed or captured by humans and rebels. Her ground forces on Earth had been trapped in the cities for months, slowly losing soldiers every day. "Sir," said her tactical officer, "perhaps it is time to consider other options." Vexatha knew what he meant. In the 1,000-year history of the Zapirian Empire, no admiral had ever surrendered. It was unthinkable. But then again, no admiral had ever fought humans before. These primitives had done the impossible. They had turned the Empire's greatest strength into its greatest weakness. The hive mind that had made the Zapirians so powerful had also made them predictable. When the humans broke their patterns, the whole system fell apart. "Open a channel to the human fleet," Vexatha said. Her officers stared at her in shock. "Sir, you heard me. Open the channel." On the bridge of the EDF Sentinel, Captain Jake Murphy was surprised to get a transmission from the alien flagship. He'd been expecting another attack, not a conversation. "This is Admiral Vexatha of the Zapirian Empire," the alien said. "I wish to speak with your leader, Jake looked at Commander Ben Hayes, who shrugged. "I guess that's you, Captain." "This is Captain Jake Murphy," he replied. "What do you want?" Vexatha was quiet for a moment. "Captain Murphy, in 47 conquests, no civilization has ever refused to surrender to the Zapirian Empire. You have done more than refuse. You have destroyed us." "We just wanted to be free," Jake said simply. "Yes," Vexatha said, "and that desire for freedom has spread across the cosmos like a plague. Every world we conquered is now in rebellion. Our empire is finished." Jake waited. He could tell the alien admiral was building up to something important. "Captain Murphy," Vexatha continued, "I am prepared to discuss the terms of our surrender." The word hung in space between them. Surrender. The mighty Zapirian Empire, conqueror of 47 worlds, was ready to give up. 2 hours later, representatives from both sides met aboard a neutral space station. Jake Murphy represented humanity. Admiral Vexatha represented what was left of the Zapirian Empire. Dr. Lisa Carter was there as a scientist. Commander Julie Thompson was there as a diplomat. "The terms are simple," Jake said. "All Zapirian forces withdraw from Earth immediately. All conquered worlds are given their freedom. No more invasions. No more empire," Vexatha nodded slowly. "And in return?" "We don't hunt down every Zapirian craft in the cosmos," Jake said. "You can go home to your own worlds and live in peace." It was a generous offer, considering that the humans could have demanded total destruction of the alien fleet. But Jake understood something important. Revenge would not bring back the dead. Peace was better than more war. "There is one more thing," Julie Thompson added. "We want to establish the Galactic Freedom Alliance. Any world that wants to be free can join. Any world that tries to conquer others will face all of us together." Vexatha signed the surrender document with a hand that shook slightly. It was the first surrender in Zapirian history, and it marked the end of their empire. The war was over. Humanity had won. The celebration on Earth lasted for days. But even in victory, the cost was heavy. Millions of humans had died defending their world. Entire cities had been destroyed. Families had been torn apart. Jake Murphy stood in the cemetery where they had buried Sarah Kim, the pilot who had turned her craft into an explosive. Her sacrifice had inspired the entire human fleet. Now she was just one grave among thousands. "She would have liked to see this day," said Amy Rodriguez, who had been promoted to commander after the war. "Yeah," Jake said quietly, "she would have." But the victory was about more than just Earth. Across the cosmos, 47 worlds were free for the first time in centuries. They were learning how to govern themselves, how to make their own choices, how to live without fear. Dr. Lisa Carter led the first human diplomatic mission to these worlds. She found civilizations that had almost forgotten what freedom meant. Some had been enslaved for so long that they didn't know how to be free. "It will take time," Lisa reported back to Earth. "Some of these worlds have been conquered for hundreds of years. They need to learn how to be independent again." But they were learning. With human help and advice, the former Zapirian worlds began to build new governments. Some chose democracy. Others chose different systems. The important thing was that they got to choose. 5 years after the surrender, Captain Amy Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the EDF Explorer, humanity's first deep space exploration craft. She was leading an expedition beyond the former Zapirian territory into parts of the cosmos that no one had ever explored. "Captain," said her science officer, "we're picking up signals from an unknown star system. It looks like there might be other civilizations out there." Amy smiled. "Are they friendly?" "Unknown, Captain." "Should we investigate?" Amy thought about Admiral Vexatha's warning during the surrender negotiations. The cosmos was a vast place full of dangers that humans had never imagined. There might be civilizations out there that made the Zapirians look weak, but Amy also thought about Sarah Kim and all the humans who had died to protect Earth's freedom. They had faced impossible odds and won. They had shown the cosmos that freedom was worth fighting for. "Set course for the signal," Amy ordered. "Let's go see what's out there." The craft turned toward the unknown stars. Behind them, Earth was safe and free. Around them, 47 worlds were learning to govern themselves. Ahead of them lay the vast, unknown cosmos, full of possibilities and dangers. But humanity was no longer alone. They had allies now, friends who had learned the value of freedom, and they had proven something important to the cosmos. Any civilization could build powerful ships. Any civilization could develop advanced weapons. But only some civilizations had the courage to fight for freedom no matter what the cost. The humans had that courage, and they had shared it with the cosmos. As the EDF Explorer disappeared into hyperspace, heading toward unknown stars and new adventures, the message was clear. Humanity was no longer just defending Earth. They were the guardians of freedom itself, and wherever they went, that freedom would follow. The cosmos would never be the same. Back on Earth in a small cemetery, fresh flowers appeared on Sarah Kim's grave. There was no note, but everyone knew who had left them. Jake Murphy visited every week, remembering the pilot who had shown humanity how to fight impossible odds. Her headstone had a simple message. She chose freedom over fear. It was a good motto for humanity's future among the stars.